11 signs you're a highly attractive man. Modern Stoic. A man who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers 1,000 men in battle. Buddha. Let's have a conversation few men ever truly stop to consider. How attractive you really are, beyond the mirror and muscle. Most men drift through life without fully grasping the way they're perceived. You might see yourself as just another guy, waking up, working hard, handling responsibilities. But what if there's more to you? What if you've been quietly turning heads without even realizing it? The truth is, genuine attraction often isn't loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It shows up in presence, in energy, in the way a room subtly shifts when you walk in. And here's the key. This kind of attraction goes far deeper than looks. It's psychological. It's how you carry yourself, how you listen, how you lead or remain calm under pressure. It's your silent strength that speaks volumes. Today, we're diving into 11 powerful signs that you're not just attractive, you're deeply magnetic. These are the traits that signal a rare kind of charisma, the kind that doesn't fade with age. It grows. So pay close attention. By the end, you may just realize you've had something extraordinary all along. 1. Your presence commands the room. Don't mistake silence for absence. Some men speak volumes before they say a word. If you've ever walked into a room and felt a subtle shift, people glance up, conversations slow, someone straightens their back. That's not a coincidence. That's presence. Not flash. No noise. Presence. And it's one of the clearest signs you're a highly attractive man, not just in the eyes of others, but in the deep, magnetic sense that draws both curiosity and caution. This isn't about being loud, flashy, or filling the air with words no one asked for. Quite the opposite. It's the absence of neediness, the calm composure that speaks louder than bravado. You don't walk fast because you're not running from anything. You don't shrink because you don't need to apologize for existing. You're not competing, you're simply there, and that alone changes the temperature of the room. Be that man. Women feel it before they see it. A man rooted in himself, his values, his direction, his mission, exudes something far more compelling than cologne or charisma. It's the quiet confidence that comes from mastering your emotions, knowing your worth, and not needing to prove either. It's what the modern Stoic cultivates daily, the discipline to be unmoved by chaos, the strength to be still in a world that's always shouting. That calm, that quiet certainty, it's intoxicating. It's what sets you apart in a crowd full of men trying too hard. Other men sense it too. They may not say it, but their instincts flare. Some will respect you instantly. Others may bristle. Why? Because your presence threatens their illusion of dominance. You don't flinch. You don't seek approval. You embody the blessing of Stoicism, the gift of stillness that makes noise feel cheap. This isn't arrogance, it's poise. It's the cultivated energy of the old Stoic, who doesn't chase attention but receives it nonetheless. He doesn't posture, he possesses. He doesn't invade space, he inhabits it fully. That's the difference. That's the power. And that's the first unmistakable sign. Your presence alone changes the mood. You walk in, and people take note, not because you're flashy or famous, but because you're centered. It's not magic, it's mastery. You've made peace with who you are, and it radiates. You don't shrink and you don't puff up. You simply exist with intention. Be warned, this kind of presence can't be faked, and it can't be mimicked. You either earn it, or you don't. And if you've noticed the room quiet down without trying, then you've got it. That subtle dominance, that unspoken command of attention, is not only a sign of attractiveness, it's the signature of the modern Stoic. So own it. Don't downplay it. Don't shy away from it. That energy is rare. That energy is earned. And in a world overflowing with noise, a man who carries the blessing of Stoicism, who shows up calm, grounded, self-assured, is not just noticed, he is remembered. 2. She holds that gaze just a second too long. Let's cut through the noise. Men who live with quiet confidence, men who walk into a room with purpose and presence, they don't need to speak much. Why? Because their energy speaks for them. And one of the clearest ways that energy gets noticed, especially by women, is through eye contact. You didn't imagine it. She looked at you. Then she looked again. But here's the subtle twist. This time, her gaze didn't bounce away immediately. It lingered, half a second, maybe less, but just long enough to say, "I see you." This is no accident. Women, especially the emotionally intelligent ones, are highly attuned to social cues. They don't hand out eye contact casually. When a woman holds your gaze just a bit longer than expected, she's registering your presence. She's reading your face. She's measuring your calm. Sometimes she's curious. Other times, she's intrigued. But often, she's testing your composure. Will you crumble under the heat? Will you glance away like a teenager caught staring? Or will you meet her energy, not with arrogance, but with ease? That's where Stoic life comes in. The modern Stoic doesn't flinch. He doesn't perform. He holds his gaze calmly, briefly, and then, like it's no big deal, moves on. That's it. That's the whole play. No bravado, no reaction, just presence. You must understand, in that moment, you've already said more about yourself than any pickup line ever could. Now here's the kicker. Some women will do the opposite. They'll avoid looking at you entirely, not because they aren't interested, but because they are. Because for some, your presence triggers something deeper. Eye contact becomes too intense, too revealing. Looking at you feels like stepping into a current they're not ready to swim in. Either way, lingering gaze or shy avoidance, it's a signal. She's reacting to you. Something about your vibe, your demeanor, your very being has created a shift in the air around you. Don't ignore it. Don't get cocky. Just observe. A modern Stoic always observes. You see, attraction isn't just about looks. It's about energy. It's about the internal force you carry, your sense of direction, your calm under pressure, your silent confidence. This is what Stoic life cultivates. That unshakable stillness at your core. The man who knows who he is, and more importantly, who he isn't. So next time a woman meets your eyes and holds it just a second longer, recognize the moment for what it is. A quiet spark, a question, a test. And your job? Don't fail it. Don't leave. Don't panic. And for the love of all things Stoic, don't turn it into a performance. Be calm. Be composed. Be you. Then break the gaze, casually, like a man who has places to be. That's how the modern Stoic moves. That's how attraction grows, not with noise, but with stillness. These are the Stoic lessons you don't read in textbooks. This is real-world awareness. This is where masculinity and grace meet. So the next time her eyes find yours, don't look away too soon. But don't overstay your welcome either. Strike the balance, own the moment, and walk on, like a man who understands what she just told him, without saying a word. Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. We're moving forward with even more powerful tactics to leave a lasting impact on their minds. Get ready for the next move, one that deepens their connection to you in ways they can't ignore. If you are ready, comment. Let's go. Let's move forward. 3. Your words carry natural authority. Your words are your power. If you're the kind of man who speaks and others stop to listen, you already know what this means. It's not about being loud. It's not about dominating the room or talking over people. It's about a calm, steady, deliberate presence, a voice that commands attention without ever needing to demand it. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and father of Stoic principles, once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A highly attractive man understands this. He doesn't waste words. He doesn't stutter through his ideas. He doesn't try to impress with noise. He lets silence do the work. He speaks only when he has something worth saying, and when he does, the room leans in. You must learn the art of speaking like a modern Stoic. That means training your tone to reflect confidence, Lower your voice. Slow your pace. Stop racing through sentences like you're trying to escape them. Every word should feel chosen, deliberate, weighted with meaning. This is the language of men who master life, not just survive it. If you're still filling quiet moments with nervous chatter, stop. Let the silence be your ally, not your enemy. The man who is calm under pressure, still in chaos and unbothered by silence, is the man who controls the room without ever raising his voice. Attractive men embody stoic energy, calm, centered, unwavering, and others sense it instantly. Women especially. They notice how you hold space. They lean in because your words feel different. You speak with the authority of a man who doesn't just talk. He lives his truth. That's what magnetism is. Not flash, not volume, not boasting. Its inner certainty is made audible. Stoic principles teach us to focus on what we control, to act with intention, and to speak with integrity. Your voice should reflect that mastery. Your words should echo the discipline of a man who spent time in silence, sharpening his mind, forging his path. Never forget. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. That phrase is repeated because it matters. It's burned into the minds of winners. Don't speak to be heard, speak to move people. Speak like someone whose words have weight. Let your tone be grounded. Let your pauses breathe strength. That is how you separate yourself from the noise. That is how you own every room without ever competing for it. Let's be clear. This isn't about manipulation. It's about presence. It's about authenticity. It's about living the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." So don't just try to talk like a powerful man. Become one. Your voice will follow. Your words will carry natural authority because they come from a place of alignment, of clarity, of earned wisdom. In a world of endless talking heads and shallow performances, your calm confidence becomes magnetic. Your grounded presence becomes irresistible. Your stoic mindset becomes your greatest weapon. You become the kind of man people respect instantly, even before you open your mouth. And when you do speak, they listen. They remember. They act. That is the power of your voice. That is the power of a modern Stoic. Speak with purpose. Speak like a man who has conquered himself. Then watch how the world follows your lead. 4. People respect your personal space without prompting. You ever notice how in a packed room, without saying a word, people just make way? You're not waving your arms, not scowling or shoving, yet somehow, like a quiet ripple through water, the crowd shifts. That's not luck. That's presence. That's the invisible weight of a man who walks with intention. It's not about being physically imposing. It's not about shouting for space. It's about carrying yourself with that calm, self-contained intensity that announces, "I know who I am." And people, without even realizing it, move accordingly. That is the blessing of Stoicism at work. You don't chase validation. You don't plead for recognition. You simply are, and the world adjusts. That quiet dominance is a hallmark of the modern Stoic, a man who doesn't have to prove himself because his energy does it for him. In social circles, some men talk endlessly and are barely noticed, while others say little and command the room. Why? Because people respond not just to words, but to presence. Women especially pick up on this. A man who seems respected by others, who doesn't scramble for space or approval, instantly reads as important. And attraction, like it or not, often hinges on perceived importance. Be that man. Be the one whose aura does the talking. Be the old Stoic with new fire. Watch closely the next time you enter a restaurant, a waiting room, even a crowded train. Do people subtly lean away when you sit down? Do they shift to give you more space, even without making eye contact? That's not a fluke. That's the result of energy projected by a man who has mastered stillness, who has nothing to prove, yet everything to show. Don't underestimate this. It's easy to dismiss these micro-reactions as coincidence, but they're not. The truth is, most people are hyper-attuned to nonverbal cues, even if they don't consciously realize it. When you move with confidence, when your posture says, "I belong," When your mind is anchored in calm certainty, the environment mirrors it back. That's the strength of the modern Stoic. You're not loud, you're not arrogant, you're grounded, and people respect that grounding more than you know. In fact, in a world that rewards noise and flash, the quiet calm of a man who knows himself is magnetic. Don't chase attention. Command space. Don't fidget, apologize, or second-guess your steps. Walk like every inch of ground you cover is yours. That's not arrogance, it's assurance. That's the energy of the old Stoic dressed in modern skin. You don't need to be rich or famous to exude this presence. You need discipline, awareness, poise. That's all. Carry yourself like your time matters, like your attention is a gift, like your presence is earned, not given away for cheap. Because it is. And when people instinctively respect your space, without a word, you'll know you're doing it right. You're living the blessing of Stoicism. And if this resonates with you, drop a comment right now. I move with purpose and the world makes space. Like this video, subscribe for more powerful insights, and remember, true presence doesn't speak loudly. It simply doesn't need to. 5. Women create opportunities to be near you. Let's cut through the noise. A truly attractive man, one grounded in Stoic principles, doesn't chase attention. It gravitates toward him. And one of the clearest signs you're that man is this: women find ways to be near you, not by accident, not by coincidence, but with quiet, deliberate intent. This isn't about vanity, it's about presence. When you walk into a gym, step into a cafe, or simply move through your day with calm, focused energy, your aura speaks before you do. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." If your thoughts are composed, disciplined, and purposeful, your very presence will pull others in. Women will appear where you are, not once, not twice, but often. They'll pass by more than necessary. They'll linger. They'll accidentally brush your arm, or find some absurd reason to ask a question they already know the answer to. Watch for the laughter, louder than your joke warrants. Watch for the unnecessary chit-chat, the weather, the gym equipment, the time of day. These aren't random. These are silent signals, wrapped in plausible deniability. And if you're wise, you'll read between the lines. Understand this: a woman uninterested in you will vanish. She won't linger, she won't laugh, she won't engage. That is nature's signal, and a Stoic man must recognize it without emotional overreaction or ego. Attraction lives in attention, not direct declarations, but quiet patterns of behavior. She's placing herself within reach, hoping, without saying so, that you'll initiate. This is your cue. Not to act needy, not to chase, but to remain aware, controlled, and alert. You must remain centered, grounded in the reality of what is, not what you hope to be. Don't guess, observe, don't fantasize, analyze. Your power lies not in reaction, but in perception. The Stoic man sees clearly. He doesn't mistake every smile for interest, but he also doesn't ignore the signs that are consistent, subtle, and repeated. In today's world, full of noise, distraction, and false bravado, true masculine presence is rare. That's why it's magnetic. Women aren't just drawn to looks or money, they're drawn to energy, to self-possession, to stillness in chaos. The modern Stoic man, the man who acts from reason, not impulse, who moves with purpose, not haste, commands the room without saying a word. That man is rare, and you must become him. Don't doubt it. Don't downplay it. Claim it. Let every step be decisive. Let your energy speak before your mouth does. And when she shows up near you again and again and again, know this isn't by chance. This is respect. This is an attraction. This is victory. Don't ignore it. Don't question your value. Live it, embody it, own it. As Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength makes you attractive beyond measure. And when a woman is continually near, creating excuses to connect, she's responding to your discipline, your presence, your essence. Maintain it. Amplify it. This is your edge. This is your sign. Sign 6. You remain unfazed by social pressure. One of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess is the ability to stay grounded when the world tries to shake him. When others zig, you're perfectly fine zagging. Not for show, but because your compass points inward, not out. This isn't stubbornness, it's self-respect, the kind that comes from a man who lives by Stoic lessons and refuses to betray his truth for applause. Most men unconsciously seek approval. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny, agree with opinions that gnaw at their gut, and the shape-shift to blend into rooms they secretly don't admire. But a man who leads a Stoic life does the opposite. He speaks when it matters, stands still when the crowd sways, and owns his silence with the same strength he owns his words. This quiet conviction doesn't just earn attention, it earns respect, and that respect echoes long after you've left the room. People remember what you say. They reference your thoughts in your absence, and they seek your insight because your presence carries weight. That kind of psychological strength is rare, and in a world addicted to validation, it's irresistibly attractive. You become the man who doesn't just take up space, you anchor it. So don't chase applause, don't fold to fit. Be the man who stands firm, unmoved, and magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because you live by Stoicism, and you've mastered the art of being powerfully unaffected. If you're the kind of man who stands firm while others bend, this trait sets you apart, and it's one of the most magnetic forces you can possess. Authenticity over approval, depth over conformity, strength over popularity. If this resonates with you, like, share, and subscribe for more insights into modern Stoicism and masculine strength. Comment to remember. True attraction begins where approval seeking ends. 7. Your calm under pressure becomes magnetic. Don't underestimate what happens when you don't lose your cool. In a world obsessed with speed, noise, and reaction, a man who stands like a lighthouse in a storm doesn't just stand out, he captivates. This isn't about being passive or detached. This is mastery. This is what the modern Stoic embodies: power without noise, presence without panic. When others scramble, shout, or shut down, you remain centered. Not because you're faking calmness, but because you've trained for it. You've lived enough life, endured enough chaos, and learned the quiet blessing of Stoicism, that your reaction is your responsibility. Picture it: the boardroom on fire with stress, tempers flaring in a family dispute, or a sudden emergency on the street. Everyone's eyes search the room for a signal of stability, and they land on you. Why? Because your stillness isn't silence, it's strength. Your measured breath, your steady voice, your clarity in the fog, these things speak louder than shouting ever could. People start mirroring your energy, de-escalating without realizing it. Women, they notice first, and not in some superficial romantic comedy way. No, they sense it on an ancient level. Evolution wired them to detect safety, leadership, reliability. The old Stoic knew this instinctively. You, the modern Stoic, live it daily. This calm doesn't mean you're emotionless. Quite the opposite. You feel everything, but you're not ruled by it. You use emotion like a blade you've sharpened and sheathed, ready when needed, controlled always. That's what sets you apart. Anyone can pretend to be unbothered when life is smooth, but when it hits the fan, that's when your wiring shows. And if you've trained yourself through discipline, introspection, the relentless pursuit of inner order, then you don't just survive those moments, you command them. That is the superpower. Not loud charisma, not manufactured bravado, but the quiet magnetism of a man who knows who he is and doesn't need to broadcast it. When a man carries the blessing of Stoicism in his bloodstream, it shows in how he speaks, in how he listens, in how he doesn't flinch. You must understand, this isn't about impressing anyone. This is about earning trust, earning respect, drawing people in, not by force but by presence. And presence, real presence, is the currency of power. So when others lose their heads, don't join them. Be the man who grounds the room. Be the calm within the storm. Be the steady hand that turns tension into action, fear into clarity. That's rare. That's unforgettable. And yes, that's attractive. The kind of attractive that isn't just seen, it's felt. And when people say things like, "I don't know what it is about you, but I just feel better when you're around," smile, because now you know. That's the mark of the modern Stoic, and you wear it well. 8. You inspire respect without demanding it. Some men enter a room like a bull charging into a china shop, loud, clumsy, desperate to be seen. They wear arrogance like cologne, thick, overpowering, and cheap. They chase attention and try to bend respect to their will. But here's the truth. Real respect cannot be forced, and real men, the truly attractive ones, don't chase it. How? Ang zrenia nei resultat. A highly attractive man understands a lesson at the very heart of Stoicism. Power is quiet. Influence doesn't need a megaphone. It's not about who talks the loudest. It's about who carries himself with inner calm, clarity, and control. These are the fruits of the Stoic life, self, mastery, not showmanship. You inspire respect without demanding it when you do things like treat the janitor with the same dignity as the CEO. Listen with full attention, without interrupting, without itching to respond. Speak with precision, no rambling, no fluff, no over-explaining. Walk into a room without needing to own it, yet somehow you still shift the energy inside it. That's magnetic. That's what Stoic men understand. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to flex to be feared. The modern Stoic lets his actions speak. He lives by principle, not popularity. He's not desperate to be liked. He's devoted to being right with himself. There's a kind of sacred silence around such men. Swing people talk softer. They weigh their words, not out of fear, but reverence. You've probably felt this. Someone enters a conversation, and the tone shifts. People sit up straighter. There's an alertness. That's not dominance. That's gravitas. And gravitas is born from discipline, humility, and authenticity. Let's be clear. This kind of respect isn't given lightly. It's earned in the quiet moments, when you stand your ground without needing to prove a point, when you forgive without making a scene, when you choose restraint over retaliation, when you say no without guilt and yes without needing applause. Be that man. Be the one who doesn't talk about values, but lives them. Be the one whose presence settles the room, not shakes it. Be the one who leads by example, not ego. This is a key tenet of Stoic lessons. Do not concern yourself with the opinion of the crowd. Your job is to live honourably, to carry yourself with quiet confidence, and to hold the line even when no one is watching, especially then. Because the truth is, people are watching. They're watching how you treat others. They're watching how you handle frustration. They're watching how you respond when no one owes you anything. And when they see consistency, grace, and strength, they respect you. Not because you asked for it, but because you showed them what a man of character looks like. So don't try to impress. Instead, impact. Live with dignity. Move with purpose. Carry the calm of a man who's been through storms and came out cleaner. That's the mark of a truly attractive man. That's the legacy of a modern Stoic. If you found value in this insight, don't forget to like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more content on modern masculinity and Stoic strength. Let's make this message stick. Comment below to affirm, I inspire respect through quiet strength. Join the conversation and own your power. 9. You know when to walk away. A truly attractive man doesn't beg. He doesn't plead. He doesn't chase after what refuses to respect him. He knows his value, and that's final. A magnetic man, grounded in Stoic principles, walks away from anything that threatens his peace. He doesn't need chaos to feel alive. He doesn't tolerate flaky dates, toxic friends, or demeaning workplaces. He assesses, decides, and exits quietly, decisively, powerfully. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, wrote Marcus Aurelius. That is the mindset of a man who has mastered detachment, not cold-heartedness, clarity. He understands that walking away is not giving up. It's choosing yourself. And in modern life, when distractions scream louder than values, a man who knows when to walk away becomes rare, precious, commanding. He doesn't crave validation because his purpose gives him direction. He isn't bitter when he leaves. He's free. People feel that. Women feel that. They see a man who can walk alone without folding, and they respect it deeply. Confidence isn't in what you hold on to. It's in what you let go of with dignity. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't beg. Just walk. Let your silence teach the lesson. Let your actions set the standard. In a noisy world, your calm exit is thunder. Let go of what drains you. Cut ties with what belittles you. Walk away from people who play games with your time, attention, and energy. You must protect your peace like a warrior protects his homeland. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, said Marcus Aurelius, and that is your call to action. Stop entertaining disrespect. Stop keeping company with those who dim your light. A man who walks away when necessary isn't heartless. He's disciplined. He's a modern Stoic. Let your presence be earned, not assumed. Let your boundaries be iron, not paper. The world respects a man who respects himself first. The moment you realize walking away is an act of strength, not surrender, you unlock your true attractiveness. You become untouchable. You become magnetic. That is what being Stoic is in the modern world. That is how you master your emotions. That is how you dominate your life. Remember, walking away is not retreat. It's a strategy. It's power. It's freedom. Be the man who doesn't flinch under pressure. Be the man who walks with purpose, even when he walks away. That is victory. That is strength. That is the mark of a highly attractive man. 10. Your humour is effortless and well-timed. Don't overthink it. You're not cracking jokes to win applause or fishing for compliments, and that's exactly why people laugh. When your humour flows without trying, when your wit appears in the moment like a reflex, not a performance, that's when it hits hardest. You don't push it. You don't force punchlines into conversations like a man desperate for attention. You observe. You wait. And when the timing's right, your words slip in like a well-cut suit, sharp, clean, and perfectly tailored to the moment. That's not just humour, that's presence. That's the kind of subtle magnetism that only the modern Stoic understands. See, in the age of over-sharing and loud personalities, the man who can drop one dry line, deliver it deadpan, and still get the room chuckling without a trace of effort, he stands out. Why? Because it's not about trying to be funny, it's about being funny. There's a big difference. The blessing of Stoicism teaches restraint, patience, and an eagle eye for detail, qualities that make your humour land like a soft punch that leaves a mark. When you're not seeking the spotlight, but still make everyone feel lighter in your presence, you're embodying the old Stoic art of influence without ego. Women notice this deeply. It's not the clowns who win their real attention. It's the men who make them laugh without performing. When she throws her head back in genuine laughter, unfiltered and unplanned. It's not just about the joke. It's about the safety, the comfort, the subtle brilliance she senses in you. She laughs because you're not trying hard, because you didn't rehearse, because you paid attention, read the room, and spoke when it mattered. That's the quiet charisma that makes a man unforgettable. Be the guy who listens more than he talks. Be the one who doesn't rush to fill silence with noise. Let your humour arrive instead of chasing it down. Don't fall for the myth that louder is better. The modern Stoic knows that true charm is in restraint. The man who uses humour not as a weapon, but as a bridge, is the one people come back to. He doesn't dominate conversations, he lifts them. He doesn't chase laughter, he earns it. That's not just attractive, that's rare. That's powerful. Humour is a weapon, yes, but in the hands of a wise man, an old Stoic, it becomes something deeper. It becomes a way to disarm tension, to show intelligence without arrogance, to reveal humanity without weakness. And when you master it, when your timing is just right, your words effortless, and your wit sharp but never cruel, you don't just make people laugh, you make them remember you. So if people smile before you even speak, if women laugh freely around you without needing to check the room first, if your humour feels like an extension of your stillness rather than an escape from it, you're not just funny, you're a force, a modern Stoic who speaks through subtlety, earns trust with timing, and makes even silence feel safe. That's not just a skill, that's a sign. If your humour flows naturally, not forced, not rehearsed, but timed just right to lift a moment or spark a real laugh, you're showing one of the strongest, most underrated signs of true masculine confidence. This isn't about jokes. It's about presence, connection, and intelligence. Comment this to claim your edge. My presence speaks louder than words, even my humour reveals strength. Comment it below if this resonated, and show the world you understand what real attraction looks like. 11. Cultivating your natural magnetism. Here's the truth that slips past most men, especially as they get older. Being attractive isn't about good genes or luck. It's a skill. Yes, a skill. Something you build, refine, and practice. Too many believe that magnetism is some mystical force you're either born with or forever without. But the reality is much simpler and far more empowering. Attractiveness is rooted in self-awareness, consistency, and quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation or a spotlight. The kind that grows stronger as you grow older, if you let it. Start by observing the men who exude that kind of quiet authority. You'll notice they're rarely the loudest in the room or the most physically intimidating. Instead, they carry themselves with calm, assured energy. They don't chase attention, they earn it. Their power lies in their stillness, their composure, and their refusal to be rattled. That's the modern Stoic at work. These men live by Stoic lessons. They don't overreact, they don't overshare, and they don't overcompensate. They simply are. And that, in itself, is incredibly attractive. One of the most overlooked tools in this transformation is posture. Yes, posture. The way you stand speaks before you ever open your mouth. Stand tall with your shoulders back, not like a puffed-up rooster, but with grounded confidence. Your body should say, "I respect myself," long before your words do. Good posture isn't about vanity. It's a daily, physical affirmation of your self-worth. And guess what? Others feel that too. In a world full of anxious, hunched-over men rushing through life, a man who carries himself with composure stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. Now let's talk about your voice. Not the pitch, but the pace and the presence behind it. Speak more slowly. Pause with purpose. Eliminate the filler. No more like, or needless apologies. Don't water down your words with insecurity. Each sentence should feel like a decision, not a plea. People listen more when you say less, but only if what you say carries weight. This is one of the key Stoic lessons. Say only what needs to be said, and let silence do the rest. When you become comfortable with stillness, both physically and verbally, you command attention without even asking for it. Most importantly, stop trying so hard to impress. That's not what draws people to you. In fact, the more you chase approval, the more it slips through your fingers. True attractiveness comes from being deeply at ease with who you are, without needing anyone's permission. That's the foundation of a Stoic life. You're not here to entertain, explain, or perform. You're here to be. The moment you stop performing and start living with grounded purpose, you'll notice something interesting. People will start leaning in. Respect will follow you. And your presence, without a single word, will fill the room. So here's the takeaway. Don't wait for someone else to hand you the keys to attraction. Take them. Start small if you must. But start. Fix your posture. Slow your speech. Read the Stoic lessons. Practice the Stoic life. Build a foundation of calm, quiet strength. Because being a highly attractive man has nothing to do with trying to be someone else. It's about being unapologetically you, minus the noise, minus the need. And that kind of presence, that's timeless. Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and keeps more content like this coming your way. Got thoughts, questions, or maybe a different take on any of the signs we talked about? I'd love to hear from you. Drop your opinion in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sharp, and keep leveling up. See you in the next one.